Hello everyone, this is Babs Who Takes Pictures, and I'm going to do some video editing with you today. Right now I am running just right on time because this guy opened up and decided to make Long Island the new Atlantis, so it took a little bit getting home. In case you weren't here last time, I was working on some commissions from Steampunk World's Fair, and today I'm going to work on some photos that I did over the weekend, and a little bit of this past summer. Before I get started, I want to show people this. It's kind of like a Kickstarter. It is a fantasy book series by my old roommate Patrick Purcell, and he needs 200 his goal is to have 250 copies of his book pledged in order to get an exclusive book deal by Geek and Sundry, who do such works such as Critical Role and other like fantastic cosplay and gaming videos. So I have the link in the show notes, and I'll have it in the YouTube description as well. For $10 you get an ebook, and you have access to drafts and updates from the author. And like I said, I lived with Pat for about a year and a half, and he is an excellent writer. He has a very vast imagination. I listened to him do many Dungeons & Dragons campaigns, and I would really like to see his book get made. And with that little pre-advertisement, let's jump into it. So I'm going to start with importing some and in case we're not Facebook friends, you know that I suffered a quite unfortunate accident with my hard drive about a week or two ago. So I lost a lot of not work, because I have that on a separate drive, but I lost a lot of my programs, I lost a lot of my presets, so I had to completely reinstall things. So while I did finally find my pen tablet, I've lost the battery, or the charger to the pen, and I had to reinstall the driver, which I could not do before this stream started. But I promise, next time I will have ordered a new charger from Amazon or eBay, whatever, and you'll be able to see me using a tablet properly. So this is from the Pirate Fest. I'm choosing a few select pieces. And this is from this past weekend. I was asked to do just a few simple headshots. And something a little bit more complicated. Let's see what I can do here. And because my last stream was, I think about 2/3 of it was muted because I had copywritten music, I'm listening to DJ Yongu and the Safe Music Podcast. So hopefully this time I'm not silenced throughout my entire video. And this is all I'm choosing for right now. I'll eventually choose additional pieces to work on. So for this first piece, you see that the background is the whole thing is a little bit overexposed. So I'm going to try and bring back some of the sky by going into the develop option. I'm going to bring back the sky with highlights, increase the contrast. I don't think increase the contrast is what I want right now. So I'm going to paint the sky a little bit. if I have enough time, there's actually a piece I would like to put on the stream that I want to use in a photography contest. So hopefully we'll get to edit that in the stream. You see, if I lower the exposure a little bit, I can paint the parts I missed. And don't worry about the edges too much right now. I'm going to fix that in just a moment. I want to make sure that everything is painted over properly. I mean, I could show the mask overlay, but I don't want to look at red right now. I want to get more of the true color. So I'll pull this back a little bit to a more realistic sky color. And now I'm going to increase the contrast. See, that looks like a much more natural sky than what I had before. I'm going to erase some of my sloppiness. And forgive me for my terrible taste in music, but that's what I had to go on for the moment. See how this. I guess I don't know. I apologize for missing y'all last week and canceling at the last second, but I was asked to stay after work for a few hours, which unfortunately ran over the time that I had previously dedicated to the podcast. So since the office needed me more, they got my attention. I'm sorry. I swear I love you, photography peoples. The great thing about Lightroom is the non-destructive editing, because I can repaint, unpaint. The only problem is that there isn't the same type of layer control as you would typically see in Photoshop. What? Oh, you. It's not erasing. Like I said, non-destructive editing. It tricked me into thinking I was erasing when I was really doing something else. What you can do with both Photoshop and Lightroom is you can go into the options and choose how far back in the history that your program is going to keep actions. So if you screw up and you made 100 paint clicks and you didn't intend to, you can very easily go back. The only thing is it takes up more of your system memory, so you have to make sure that not only can your system handle it, but that is something you really want, because some people will just not pay attention and click till the cows come home, trying to edit their settings and kind of screw themselves up. So if you're wondering why the sun is coming from this direction but she's so bright in front, that is because I have a surprisingly powerful little flash called the Yongnuo 3, 4 Mark II. It's actually not in production anymore, but their newer versions are. And for $200 I got the pair of flashes, and they're really, really very strong. This model was, I think, standing 6 feet off the ground on a deck, and the flash was straight up laying on the ground because I didn't have my light stand on hand. Just because the venue we were at, they were kind of iffy about letting me have professional gear So I just laid the flash on the ground so it's 6 feet under her at least, and it actually kept whiting her out, so I had to power it down a little. But I did like this shot. I didn't want to reshoot it. We also had to deal with very curious people who were being a little bit distracting. So, got in, got out. Come on, there it is. I'm not used to these all being closed. So there. Through post-processing, I balanced the foreground and the background a little bit. I'm going to get rid of the brush. I think what I'm going to do, and I probably should have done it first, is enable profile corrections. I guess I did this previously. Profile corrections will fix anything that is kind of wrong with your lens. Like, some lenses will round out the person too much, sometimes it will thin them out too much. So if you enable profile corrections, it will try and compensate for that. So it automatically knows the type of lens I was using. Let's say I was using the 105. Oh, okay, there was no real difference. But I'm not sure why this isn't working. But I was trying to show it would spherize the picture a little bit more. Let's go into my editing. I like always adding a little bit of a vignette because I'm that type of editor. I'll play with the haze to make it look a little bit more natural, because here, wherever it was, I think it made the outfit a little bit too gray. I like to make it a little bit dark. You can play around with whatever kind of calibration. I like keeping it current. If you want to go to 2003, no, that's horrid. 2010, not much better. 2012, oh shoot, I ended everything. That's what the history is for. And depending on your camera, you may need to change the primaries. I know one of my older Nikons, I would always have to adjust the green primary because it would just be a little bit, not saturated, but it would be a little bit to one side or the other. So people would look kind of reddish instead of the normal peach. And then I had a very brief period of time where it was absolutely perfect. And then right before it died, it kind of made people look more yellow. So if you need, choose the primaries, or that might be part of your editing process. I forgot to fix something. I don't know why it's not choosing erase for me. Yeah. I kind of wish you can see the expression I have on my face about this music, because it's kind of a raised eyebrow of confusion. But right now it's either that or DDR music, so. Yep, looks like I don't really have any chromatic aberration to deal with. I'm gonna look at this side by side. So that left out is the absolute original, no editing whatsoever. The right is quote unquote finished.